Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Traders Lab. I'm your host, Tom B. Can I please get a screen and audio check in YouTube and the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community? Dan, if you're in here, I'm not able to see the Discord chat, so I'm only going to be able to look at the YouTube. One moment, everybody, just making some adjustments here. Welcome to the Trader Lab this morning. I'm your host, Tom B. I'm streaming live from Costa Rica. I'm having some issues here. I'm not going to be able to see the chat in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab. I cannot see it. I can see YouTube okay. So if you are in the Discord community and you want to post a question, please post it in YouTube at the moment. Apologies for the problems. I am streaming from Costa Rica. I have an unstable infrastructure here. If the stream goes down, I will continue streaming in the Bookmap Discord community. There is a link in the bottom of YouTube if I drop out. Also be advised that if it does drop out, that it will be posted later today if you want to watch the stream. General disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice or recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please remember this is not a trade calling room, and please remember I'm streaming from Costa Rica on an unstable infrastructure, and I mean it, unstable. And if the stream goes down, I will attempt to continue in Discord. I will have to drop out of YouTube, and the stream will be posted later in YouTube since it is being recorded. Okay, let's get going here. I want to go over the higher time frame. Remember what this stream is about. This stream is about integrating Bookmap order flow tools with auction market theory using the volume profile as a chassis in the intraday developing time frame. One moment. I'm trying to straighten out Discord here. I cannot. One moment. Let me just try one other thing here. See if I can do this without making big trouble. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I've got, I have the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab now in sight. So I can now see your posts in there and any questions you might have. Okay, let's go. Sorry, guys, again, technical issues. This is Investor RT. It is my higher time frame charting software. These are RTH candles. This is called a micro composite, or it's a fancy term for a consolidation. And with the volume profile, it allows us to see as the distribution of volume over a range of prices, and this is basically swing low, swing high, and of course this becomes a swing high. This is last Friday, and as you guys know, we were on the short side primarily because of these selling wicks up here, which meant the sellers were in control, and even on rotations, when the sellers are getting squeezed, the sellers would then come back in. Friday, our POTUS suggested that he would be flexible on tariffs. That is a fundamental input, and that changes the auction. And we went from being sellers on Friday to towards the end of the stream becoming buyers. In fact, that stream is available. It's up on YouTube. You guys should all watch it if you're following this stream. And it's titled Meet the Trader Lab. It is the Trader Lab is an advanced trading education portal, you might say, and it is specific to advanced methodologies, processes, research, development, and much more. And it's available to all of you at no cost, but it's Meet the Trader Lab, and maybe somebody could post that link in our current YouTube. So if anyone wants to discover the Trader Lab, you can get a nice snapshot of what we do and why it might be a place you might want to stop by and visit, especially because there is no cost. So we broke out on Monday. All the shorts and all the energy in here, they got squeezed out. Thanks for playing. Now, yesterday was really interesting, and if you followed yesterday's stream, it was kind of a, I don't know, I guess I'm going to say it was kind of I'm going to say it's a non-event from a trading opportunity point of view, but it was an important event from a behavioral point of view. So, and yesterday, support was this yellow line over here. That's our highest volume from Monday, and it was right there. And right beneath that was the ETH, or overnight volume point of control. Now, this is called the volume point of control for this RTH. In the ETH, which is the auction that comes right after this RTH, and before yesterday's RTH, that is our retail price. So what we ended up doing, and if you remember in the stream, I said I didn't have any longs, even though we saw a couple upside rotations, that the ETH volume point of control needed to be tested to set up a structured trade for a long. Well, it tested it towards the end of the day, and then we squeezed and closed up near the high of the day. So that was the trade, except it didn't happen on a timely basis. Hope that makes some sense. By the way, if you have questions, please post them in YouTube and the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab. Remember, if the stream drops out, I will attempt to continue in the Discord Trader Lab. There's a link in the bottom of YouTube. You can access it. And even if you just want to visit Trader Lab, it's a community of like-minded traders who've come together to leverage their collective experience. Our senior trader has over 50 years. I've got 45, almost 46 at this point, both professionally and otherwise. And the purpose of Trader Lab is to help traders experience the business of trading and understand it versus what we imagine it to be. And the business of trading is quite different than most of us fantasize trading to be. And if you're interested in the business of trading and building trade plans and potentially career building, come to Trader Lab. You might find that useful. Thanks, Stephen. Stephen, can you throw that into YouTube if it's not there, or put a reference to it that, you know what it is? I don't think the title shows, but thank you for that. So, based on yesterday's behavior and the test of the key levels, I came in today looking for longs early. Now, I want to show you a little more detail here. This is Monday's retail price, and this is yesterday's behavior. Now, what's the language of the market? This is the auction. Now, this orange line is the highest volume for this consolidation over here to the left. Consider that a retail price. In Monday's behavior, the retail price, the yellow line, is here. This is called trading in fractals, or as you guys think of it, as multiple time frames. So let's come back and let's see then what does that do for us for today. Let's try to do this. Now, let's come back to these levels. That orange line, the highest volume, microcomposite volume point of control, 21. The ETH volume point of control, or retail price from today's ETH, is here. So think of it like retail. And then yesterday's retail price is up here. So you're saying, well, Tom, I got all these prices. What does it mean? Here's what it means. This might be too low. This is the last auction. This is the retail price. So retail higher time frame, retail ETH, retail from yesterday. And the open, RTH open, is here. So we're opening, and there should be settlement in here someplace. I think I lost it. Where's settlement? It was, hold on. I think it's covered up. 58.26 half. Yeah, settlements right here. So we're opening pretty much in a fair area. So if this is a fair area, I have a couple things I can be thinking about. I can say, well, this is the fair in the higher time frame. And by the way, why would I spend time here when I know you guys want to see something else? Because this is how you build out a plan. And then, of course, whatever happens, happens. So in a higher time frame, this 24-ish, 22-ish is, remember, the retail price. Yesterday's retail price is here. So this is support. Now I'm bringing you back now to today's open. So we have support. So let's look. So RTH open, having a great time. What do we want to do? Well, I started out today saying I want to get long because of what happened yesterday, which was we got nowhere. We chopped around. Both sides were active. Yet at the end of the day, RTH, we had our buyers. So now I have to look for a location. So I want to get long. That's what I know. Now, the beauty of this business is we don't know where, when, if, how, right? So that we know we don't know. So let's see. And I hope we're doing okay in YouTube and the Bookmap Discord community. Please let me know. One moment, please. Got to move some stuff around here. Try to move some stuff around. Not so much. 1 second, guys. Trying to move some things around here on my other. I'm on a laptop here in Costa Rica, so it's kind of like using a shoehorn. One moment. Okay. All right, thank you, Justin. Okay, guys, so market opens. Now, right here, I'm going to tell you, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, look at those buyers, RTH open, and I'm thinking, yeah, buyers, let's go. Now I have to have a location. Now I have two possible locations for longs. I have this, the ETH volume point of control. Remember, retail price. If it's too low, I can go north. If I break under here, then next level is this. So let's watch. So I'm looking for a long. Not saying it's doesn't mean it. By the way, if I look for a long, it doesn't mean I won't step on a rake like everybody else. Let's be real. So I see the market headed up, and I'm thinking, what goes through your head? How about this? I should have got long. But what is that? It's noise. It's useless. It's a waste of time. It means nothing. It is your emotional stimulus, your fight and flight, and your FOMO being triggered. So I go, I should have got long. But I don't have a trade here. But what do I see? A rotation. Don't we always see everything in hindsight and it's so clear? Well, we don't live in the hindsight world in trading. We live in the maybe world, maybe not, maybe I don't know, and we'll see you later. So I'm looking for long. So right here, chop, 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 break high. So when I see the break high, I'm going, okay, where's my area for a long? It's going to be back in here. This is where I'm looking for a long. I get VPOC migration. Now, this is an important element. Let me just check one thing here, guys. Yeah, here. So right here at RTH open, I have what's called VPOC right here, volume point of control. I made these terms up. It's called VPOC migration. All it is, it's nothing heavy, if you know what I mean. It's no secret sauce. The auction is made up of shoppers, traders, shoppers, same thing. And this is a shopping experience. The auction is really a valuation process. So when you shop, you also are participating in an auction. It just moves at a very slow pace. In our business, we're rocking and rolling with velocity and rotations. So in the store, the price doesn't change much. If the price is too high, then we might leave it. If we come back to it and it's still too high, we might leave it. So this is resistance in the microstructure, and then support is here. Okay, so support resistance, support resistance, support resistance, chop, chop, chop. What's going on? Wish I knew. And naked volume point of control. This is yesterday's retail price. So I'm ping-ponging between the ETH retail price, highest volume in the ETH, and this. Yesterday's RTH retail price, ping pong, and it's like, what are you going to do here? And I'm thinking long, remember, long. So this is micro resistance. This is support resistance. So I'm baffled like anybody else because I'm thinking to myself, I'm in a two-sided auction. It can break either side. And I always say in the Trader Lab to developing traders, don't trade here because you got nothing. Basically, it's a separate trade plan. So the last place for developing traders to trade is right in here because we don't have any structure. We have ETH and RTH, but look where they're located. So I've got a mess here. So I'm just sitting here going, I want to get along. Now, right here, I see my liquidity comes in the book. This is the heat map, break high. Now, here's a little something. I'm going to call this trick of the trade. Literally, no pun intended. This here, this stop an iceberg detector. And this is based on MBO data, market by order data, comes directly from CME. And the thing about MBO is it is tagged. And what that means is that, when you put an order in, they got to know, is it a market order, a limit order, a stop? What's going on? Well, because they're tagged, and Bookmap can read these tags, it can tell us, what is it? Well, these are buy stops. Now, Delta shows aggressors. Well, if a stop becomes a market order, it also will show up in Delta as an aggressor. So when you see a green bubble, that doesn't mean buy it. It means aggressor. Now, on the other side of these stops, you can see these. This is a selling iceberg. So we have a selling iceberg, buy stops. Now, I don't use indicators, but this is one of the things. I'm always kind of proud of this little statement. It's the only thing I use for my years of working with indicators and trading systems. It's called stop divergence. So if the market's going higher, so I'm going 52 stops. Lovely. 14. Oh, my gosh. 7. Hey, we're going to break low. What is this? Divergence, right? So who are the buyers? Is it initiators or are we going up on buy stops? Now, of course, it's a great question. Nobody knows the answer. You won't, I won't, only in hindsight. Right here, I have my buyer, I have stop divergence, and I break the red bubble. I break below the buyers. This is a warning Will Robinson moment, and I have my liquidity here. Let's see what it does. This is microstructure. Now, for somebody who's extremely skilled, and this is yesterday's value area high, this is volume profile, market profilage, standard methodology. This is a resistance area. Now, for me, it's not a short. I'm looking for a long. And then, of course, you're going to go, well, really? Yeah. So let's look. So now we're coming down. And I'm going, okay, where's my level? It's here. Remember, everything I showed you at the top of the stream. Now what? Liquidity in the book. This is the heat map. What do I have coming out here? Now, remember, there's no precision in this. These are areas, not lines on a chart. I mean, it is a line, but no, but I don't, at least. I go, well, it's an area. Let me see if there's a reaction. If this turns out to be too low, I have a trade called mean reversion. And I posted this in Trader Lab. How are we doing in YouTube? And how are we doing in Discord? Dan, I think you just said that you hear the monkeys chirping here from Costa Rica. So right here, we come into this liquidity, 87 sell stops coming out. Thanks for playing. This is when your broker sends you the gift basket. By the way, if your broker hasn't sent you a gift basket, you need a new broker. 49 sell stops come out, location, and this is location. Now, under here, no clue. Watch. Absorption, buyer, location, level, no precision, and no clue. Break high. So what happened right here? Absorption. This is how order flow can help you. Absorption. So anyway, watch. I posted this in TraderLab. This is long. Now, and this is in TraderLab. If you're in the TraderLab community, you guys saw this, and I'm going, gotcha now. Yeah, well, you know, you got them till they get you. So right here is your absorption. Let me take you into the microstructure. Sellers are here. You see them. That's why you get the buyers are there. Sellers are here. I'm just grabbing this so you can see the structure. Micro high volume is here. Break low. Sellers in control right there. Sellers, sellers, sellers. Little liquidity bump in here. Where's my sellers? There. Where's my sellers? Here, here. Buyers take a shot here. Where's my sellers? There. And here. Not so much. Sellers going to zero. Liquidity. Buyers are here. Sellers are here. Sellers take a shot here. No clue yet. Buyers take control here. See the change in behavior? Now, where is my support? Let me show you. Now, I'm going to spend a moment or two here so you can kind of get a sense of structure. Because in the Trader Lab, when you're starting out, you need, I think, to visualize and understand what you're actually looking at. But not only that, what creates it? What creates the behavior? So I draw little lines and boxes to help traders see these things. Absorption is here. Resistance in here. You see it? Support is here. No clue. Break high. Trigger. Now, where's your support? Where the sellers got run over. There. So this becomes support, and this is support, absorption. So support, support. So long here, and then you're going for this. Let's see what happens. Structured trade. Okay, so that was the first long. That was my first trade. I was very proud of myself for a few minutes. And let me tell you what else. And all of this is predicated on what happened yesterday, and also looking for sellers, buyers, but I didn't get my buyers. I got my sellers, which sets up my opportunity for the buyers. And then I have over 90% probability of taking out either the ETH high or low, and I was going for this, and over an 80% probability of taking out yesterday's high or low. Lovely. So that was my first trade. Long story short. Anyway, now, so I'm thinking, yeah, looking good. Now this comes in, I don't know, if somebody sneezed on somebody on a terminal at the CME. I have no idea what happened here, okay? One second, please. How we doing in Discord? We okay there? Dan and YouTube, we doing okay, guys? Remember, if I drop out, I am streaming from Costa Rica, and if I have to drop out of YouTube because I'm on a string in a tin can here and an unstable connection, the stream will be posted later. In the interim, there's a link in the bottom of YouTube if you want to visit the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community. There's no cost for that, and there's a lot of additional materials there, documentation on building out the business, trade plans, understanding the psychology involved here, and structured trades that you can reverse engineer and make in your own. So right here, let's see if we see anything familiar. I'm coming up 22 buy stops, six, what do we call that? Stop divergence, going to the moon, Alice, 6 selling icebergs, sell trigger. Now, here, I get that, and I don't think anything of it because, again, I have high probability to get here. So I see this, and I'm aware of it, but I don't necessarily, because for me, I understand that we can get counter rotations. So this right here is a consolidation. I'm going to draw a little box around it just so you can see what this thing looks like. And again, the fact that it happens is not actionable. It is, for me, informational. That's all this is. Now, I want to show you the boundaries of this. You see this up here, outside edge, and down here, low volume node. What are we bracketing? We're bracketing the consolidation. Right here is a sell trigger. Now, when I see this, I'm looking at this. The buyers are here. These guys were absorbed. So if I put another little line in here, and what you're saying is, Tom, what about all these lines? Well, all I'm doing is I'm looking at volume. So if you look up here, it's this to this to this. High volume is right in here. That high volume is like a volume point of control. Where's high volume? What is high volume? It's retail. Up here are the sellers. Down here are the buyers. And that creates your consolidation. Inside of the consolidation is your volume. And that's that little node sticking out there. Think of this like, I'm not paying that. Yeah, but it's on sale. Fair price. But what happens if the fair price is too expensive? What might happen? We might, and this is a trigger, this is a test, this is a trigger, and this is support. Watch it. See the behavior? Because now I fell out of here. I'm just showing you some microstructure, and now we tested this. So support, resistance. Who knows? Now, in theory, and that's a good term to use for trading because it's random, if I stay above here, then my resistance is going to be there, and the idea is to come out the top. Watch. Where's resistance? I gotta, someday, when Bookmap gets around to it, these will automatically extend, and then I don't have to do this, but I want you to see how structure is part of what we do. Where's resistance? It's there. Resistance is there, support's there. Watch. Uh-oh, warning, problem, bing, bing. Where's now, if that's resistance, and this was support, this is an old concept that we all have probably read about. This might become resistance, and that is resistance. Let's see what it does. Okay? Now, for me, I did not get short. Other traders in Trader Lab got short. Me, not so much. Me, out. So, and then we do one of these things, the Acapulco cliff dive. Now, let me give you some other ideas. Now, some of what I share here, most of what I share in the stream is fundamental Trader Lab processes. Even though Trader Labs is advanced processes, I'd like to share more primal processes. Developing traders have to start somewhere, right? So I shared 60 PDFs of structured trades that can be used as templates in the sense of you can take these, reverse engineer them, tear them apart, make them your own. And I'm sure you've all seen these. If you haven't, they look like whatever they look like, wherever they went. Here, they look like this. You can download them, explaining higher time frames, some of the stuff you see me do here. A lot of detail and minutia. I'm not a vendor. There's no cost for this. But I picked a selection of trades that can help traders develop an understanding of market mechanics. And the whole point is, if you can understand how the market works and why it does what it does and take pieces, you can actually, if you do the work, and the term work is very much part of this, you can build something potentially for yourself and learn how this operates. Some of these are from 2020. So it's not about me, it's about you understanding the business you're in and then crafting solutions. So Right here, trouble south. Now, let me show you something else. This was our support, okay? Remember? Well, old saying, support can become resistance, right? Support is here. When I break below, and I'm below this, which is our retail price in the higher time frame, this sets up a short right here. Now, this might be a little more advanced, but I'm conceptually doing the same thing. If this is a long against this level, and we go south of the border, and this can be a short here, or break below, a short here. So this one, and I'm only talking about me, this one was more deer in the headlights because that takes me a little time to turn the barge around. So this is the next short for me, and we have over a 90% probability of taking out the ETH higher low, so over there, and there's more. Now this is called a variable high volume node, remember that, and there's more. Let's watch. This is an advanced structured trade right here in Trader Lab. I posted this in Trader Lab. I don't call trades. You don't need to take my stops. I take them just like you do. Everybody does. There's no secret sauce. You're not going to avoid cost of production and overhead. 15. This is advanced. Let's look at it together. We come down, resting liquidity. Important. Heat map. Buying iceberg, sell sweep. Often when we get sweeps, we get a counter rotation. Here's our counter rotation. Now this right here is important. So right here it is, watch, support. I don't get over this. Here, I'm going to mark it micro high volume. Let's just watch some of this stuff together. Because what am I doing? I don't use indicators. And when you're saying, what are you doing? I'm going to say, well, I'm looking at the auction. Look at the little micro structures. This is language. So when I think of indicators, and I don't have, don't forget, I grew up on indicators when they were first coming into the retail space. So they were all new. So I spent years really pulling them apart and creating my own hybrids. I spent a lot of, when I say a lot of time, I mean years doing that. And then I built trading systems to try to use indicators and optimize them. Because like you, I was tuning, tweaking, going back, trying to make it better, having winning trades like we all do, and thinking I was on the path. I just had to make it better. Well, I found out, unfortunately, after years, that was not the case. I was just chasing randomness around without an edge. Because I thought winning trades is what I was supposed to be looking for, but not really. Everybody has winning trades. Gamblers have winning hands. That doesn't make them successful gamblers, right? So there's a difference between being a gambler and sitting on the house side of the table. That's the business you're in, gaming. Not gambling, gaming. So you can either sit with the gamblers or you can sit with the house. So I've figured out, unfortunately, too many years later, and a lot of, as they say, wear and tear, that I wanted to sit with the house. And that meant I had to change my beliefs and also change my approach. Support, resistance, break, support is here. Break, test. This is a short, advanced methodology. And where else is it a short? Look where, right there. Short. So if you're in Trader Lab, there's this location for a short, a little more advanced, break, and then what was this? Location. What's this? A buy sweep. What does a buy sweep do for us? Well, at times, the buy sweep suggests counter rotation, another tool in Bookmap. Very cool. I like the sweeps. As long as I'm not being swept out the door personally, but I like the sweeps. So this sweep suggests counter rotation. This is my resistance. Let's see where it comes. Right there. Okay, outside edges here. VPOC migration. This is now the fair price. If I come out here, this is called mean reversion. I'm trading in fractals, which takes me back here for a scale. And then, and what else is here? Well, we just got into yesterday's low, sell stops under yesterday's low, resistance, come back to here. This is mean reversion. Now, either south of the border or squeezatoria. Let's see what happens. Watch. Where's our resistance? Where's our resistance? There. Wait, there's a little, I got to move this over again. I'm hoping Bookmap will get to this for me and us. So this, I don't have to move it. I want to show you structure. This is called trading, in fractals and structured trading. Resistance. Resistance is there. Liquidity comes in the book. These are all shorts. Now, the optimum short for me is this. Doesn't mean you can't be selling this with a stop up here, selling this, stop up here. That's just saying. Something to think about. Let's watch. Now, we're under yesterday's low. The internet is really weird here because it even impacts my investor RT export of levels. They'll come back in a moment. Let me see. I need this to come back because I don't know quite where things are at the moment. One moment. I can't see my levels here. One moment, please. Let me see if I can get this thing to export. Yeah, it should catch up in just a second. So once we get under yesterday's low, here we're outside of yesterday's range. That suggests to me Coyote Ugly and going south of the border. Now, there's two things here. And I want to thank Rod, one of our participants in the Trader Lab, who, by the way, there's a lot goes on in Trader Lab. Data mining, research, call it research and development, the sharing of structured trades and developing trades, and data mining especially. Now, Rod contributed this. The first half hour, so this would be 9 a.m. Central Time. I'm not in the Central Time Zone, but I'm using Central Time Zone. Costa Rica does not do daylight savings time. They say, yeah, save it for yourself. We'll see you later. There's about an 87% probability, past performance not indicative of future results. If we get below the first half hour's low, then we're going to take out the first hour's low, which is going to be, and that's the IB low, initial balance low. And that sets at 9:30 Central Time. So what that does is, since we took out the first half hour, that suggests that at 9:30 that we may take this out. And if we do, what do we want to do if you're in Trader Lab? Sell. Counter rotations. And of course, past performance not indicative of future results. We're outside of yesterday's range, remember. VPOC migration. Too high. And let's just watch. Now, these are structured trades. You can learn these in Trader Lab. I'm not saying, that they're going to be your thing. But the idea at Trader Lab is that you take it one piece at a time. When you see these things happening, you need to understand why. Not will it, why might it? Might being the key word. Here's what we have. This is the current retail price right here. We have a buy sweep, which sets up a potential counter rotation right here, which gives us this. We get a sell sweep, which gives us a counter rotation back here. Right here is too high. Why might it be too high? Remember, might. Because the developing volume point of control shifted lower. This is saying new retail price. Well, if that's too high And this is the new retail price. What's my resistance? It's going to be out here where the sweep took place. Let's watch the behavior. Watch very carefully. Anything can happen, by the way. Resistance. And we have our VWAP sitting over here. So it is possible we squeeze out here. Nothing says it won't do anything. Watch. Too high. Too high, break low, new retail price. Market comes back and goes, is that really too high? Is that really too high? Yeah, it is. Absorption. Icebergs, icebergs. And what else do you see up here? I know you always pay attention. 17 buy stops, resistance, buy sweep. All of these are suggest potential south. Does it have to do it? No. Where are we testing? Yesterday's range. I'd like to ring the gong here. If you can't get back in yesterday's range and you can't get to the VWAP and you come to resistance, subject to how you look at it, and you come up here and you've got nothing going on except you're selling icebergs and some buy stops, hasta la vista. Where's support? Here, watch. Too high, support. Watch. Break. What happens to this? If that's too high, this now is too high, this is support, there's your support, there's your break. Watch. Where's resistance? Watch. Now, I know you're seeing all this and you're going, well, how do you know? Here's the answer. Nobody knows. So there. Problem solved. There is no knowing. There's only interpretation of the auction, because the ultimate, your indicators are only tracking price. So too high, this is a Trader Lab structured short. If it's in your plan, support is here. Let's come back right here. And this is, again, I'm getting into a little bit advanced methodology here. Let me show you this. If this is support, right there, there. Let me show you. Support, resistance, retail, too high. It could do this and come back here and go across. It does this. I break below. I test. Support, I know this concept is complicated, becomes resistance. Trigger, add or nothing, south of the border. And what was that? Over 90% probability we take out the first hour's low. What else do we have? Resting liquidity. This is, again, order flow related. Watch. 5,800. Break. IB stat. Now pull back to where? Where is resistance? Isn't it here? Isn't it here? Isn't it there? This is an advanced Trader Lab structured trade right here. Trader Lab, did you guys take advantage of this one? If you're asking me about my short bias, no, I had a long bias coming in. And I took my first trade was the long side, and that trade failed to continue. It missed the targets of the ETH high and low. Once we started breaking down, it changed everything, and I had to turn the barge around. And I'm not quick to turn. I'm not somebody who picks highs and lows unless I fall over it. But this is a short, okay? So this is another short, and you can see it right there. Okay, so short. Now, this is from Friday's up day, the beginning of what's called a low volume zone. And once we get down in here, then it's see you later. There's nothing here. Let me see if I can, well, I can't grab everything and show it to you here. Where am I here? And there's stops under here. We have a gap high and we have the gap low, which is still open. Now we're in real time. So all these are shorts. So this is still short. There's nothing going on here except holding a short. Let me come back and show you something. I'm going to drag over our composite chart so you can see. Now I discussed this in TraderLab, and when I discuss something, it doesn't mean I know. It means I know what might happen. I don't absolutely have no idea what will happen. So this is the gap from Monday, and in this area we had what's called low volume zone. This was the breakout of this consolidation, 70 half. Filling this gap in would take us to 70 half. Also, when you have a breakout of a consolidation, the market can come back and test the breakout. So we have to see what happens over here. Okay? And this, I don't like to use the word expected. I like to use the word anticipated. This was not anticipated today. Anticipated was this, and that was the first move. So, and then once it changes, then, So now we're looking for to come in here, fill this gap, and then we have to see the behavior in here. So we'll see what it does. And this is the gap low down here. So that's what we're looking for. You guys have questions, post them. Let me see if I can get this squared away a little bit for us. And then we're going to be looking. So this is the gap of the fill of the gap, and it's also the breakout of that consolidation. So this 70-50 is a, hold on one second. 70-50 is a big deal. It's the breakout. So it's there, and then we can test it back inside. It could do anything. So our job's not to predict. Our job is to align. So just short. You guys have questions. So there's nothing more to do here other than manage your trade. And if you're in TraderLab, it's about your trade plan and your trade management plan. Some traders are going to get knocked out of this because they trade, I should say manage their trade pretty tight, like something like this. And if you get knocked out of your trade's over. It's not a big deal. At least it isn't to me. I got past being in hindsight, everything is clear. There's no way to know which rotation or if there's going to be a squeeze or there's no way. So if you can't control that, what do you control? You control how you apply your plan, and then the outcome is random. If you have structured trades, you can always re-enter. How we doing, guys? How we doing in YouTube, and how are we doing in the Bookmap Discord TraderLab community? By the way, if you're visiting in YouTube, there's a link in the bottom of YouTube if you want to visit the Bookmap TraderLab. There's 60 PDFs of these structured trades and a lot more you can download. Trade plan, checklists, psychology, audio clips that I've done on psychological factors that impact all of us, and an understanding of what the business actually is versus what we think it is. This is not a business of indicators. It's not a video game. It is a statistically based business, very different than what most of us think it is. Okay, Dan, put a little gas in the tank for Discord. So, sell sweep, liquidity. If you're sitting in this, you could very easily be done with the short and then get in the Barca Lounger and just hang out. We're not here to try to get all of it. Nobody does, because what is all of it? Define all of it. And remember, this is on the hit parade. and maybe lower. Let me see if there's anything down here. Not a lot. So there's really nothing down here. 70-50, getting into this, getting down here is the target area. You don't need anything more than that. Or, and here's where the or comes in, and the or is your trade plan, not mine. There are traders in Trader Lab that can be trading these rotations. That's it. That's their world. And let me show you micro trading now. And these are not recommendations. And if you don't learn the broad stroke, you will not survive. It's really a top-down, bottom-up approach. Let me show you this. What is this? Let's isolate what is going on right here, right now. Let's just look at it. I'm going to pull this back. So what I figured out through a lot of pain, like all of us, by the way, that's a buy sweep counter rotation. Now, by the way, nothing is mechanical. There's a buy sweep. Where's my counter rotation? I don't get one. All right. What about here? There's my rotation. If this is too high, right here, right, watch. I'm just taking you somewhere where most people shouldn't go, especially developing traders. But you can learn this methodology. Micro high volume is here. 21 buy stops, sweep, and a selling iceberg. And by the way, right here, why doesn't it just keep going? How about this? No clue. Let's get off this predicting thing. You know how to predict something, let me know. Come to Trader Lab. We all try to predict because we psychologically need confidence or confirmation. How many times do you use the word in your mind, confirmation? How about understanding there is no confirmation? There's only maybe. There's your sweep, going to the moon. Liquidity is here. Break below the liquidity. The volume is there. There's the test. There's the liquidity. Watch. There is the liquidity. Here is your buy stop. There is your buy sweep. Here is your buy sweep. Microstructure, just showing you something. There's your resistance. There's your sweep. Here's your resistance. Against the sweep, against the liquidity, sellers. This is microstructure, and we have more. If I go over here, I've got too high right up here. Too high. Liquidity is there. Let me just get it in here for you, just so you can see this. So depending how you slice and dice this, you could be looking at these microstructures. You could see the volume. You can see the resistance. You can see the resistance. You can see the resistance. Just showing you. You can see the resistance. You can see the resistance. And what's the big quote trend? I think we might agree at the moment, maybe south of the border. Let's watch. You can see the resistance. And let's see what we do. Current low of the day. Any questions? Yeah, Ben, we are in a south of the border. Perfect Pair is asking me, where might I see locations? Well, I don't call trades, but I will say that currently these are areas here. But here's the other thing you got to remember. Buyers are here, and there's your sweep. The sell sweep sets up the counter rotation. Buy stops are above here. So this is an outside edge. This is called a low volume node. I'm going to put just a little something here for you. A low volume node's an outside edge of a consolidation. Let's see what happens when we come up here. And these are not trade recommendations. This is a sweep, which sets up the down. This is a sweep, which sets up the up. This is an outside edge. It's out in here. The high volume is up here, which was too high. So we have our area to observe up here. Let me look a little further up the financial food chain, and I've got another one out here, another low volume. So if I'm looking to lean to the south side, it's going to be here and maybe here. And this is not a recommendation, because the fact there's a level is not a reason you trade it. What I always think of when I have levels that are auction-based, they're areas to anticipate in order to participate. So in the Trader Lab, it's about levels of auction-based behavior. Why did the market go down from here? Because this is too high. Because my volume is here. Too high. What happens up here? My volume, if that's too high and I get a sweep, that's what happens. If I come back and check it and it's too high, that's what happens. If I come down here and I get a sweep, I can come back and check what's too high. And where's my stops? Out here. So I know I have this area, I have resistance there at that micro high volume structure, and I have stops up above these swings. So I'm always thinking from both sides. So we want to watch the sweep that's happening here. There's stops above here, and we want to watch this area now and see what it does. Let's watch. And these are not trade recommendations. I'm as clueless as everybody else. Not ignorant, just clueless. Because I can't predict what will happen. What I do is I understand the auction, which is dynamic and happening in real time. And then what I do is I look at locations, and then I want to see, do I get a trigger? And I'm using order flow and the structure to look for triggers. So in this area, I'm looking for shorts. It's not, and I don't want any of you guys just thinking, oh, it's a short. It doesn't have to be anything. It can just be an area, and then I'm looking for behavior. This liquidity just came in here. Let's watch. So I have two locations. This is one of them, which we took out. The next area is going to be up here. It's this outside edge, and outside edges have stops. Here's the other thing. So I don't step in front of these locations. Buy stops are sitting here. So for me, if I can come out and take the stops and see exhaustion, and this is in the book, and we don't know if it's going to stay or pull, that's part of the thrill. Now we want to watch the location. Let's just see what it does. And again, not a trade recommendation. It is strictly an area of interest. This is an outside edge of this. So when you come up to an outside edge, it is a swing. You always have to look left. So stops are going to be right here. So if I come up here and I exhaust out, so this is very important to watch here. We'll just see what it does. So for me, if I'm looking at this, and I take stops all day, preferably less stops than potential opportunity and profit. That's why for me, and it's just an individual thing, my comfort is attempting to catch larger rotations. And the reason for that is I do take stops, so I need to get paid on the trades that work to pay for the ones that don't. The goal is a minimum 2-lot configuration. The job of the first contract is to get risk neutral by the stop on the runner. So that, and I take full stops, let's get over it. And then if I can have a positive edge or expectancy of getting risk neutral versus taking a full stop, I can then probe the market if I have an edge to get scaled. That's the first piece. So let's watch our area here. Not a trade recommendation. Are you guys with me? And Ben, yes, for me, it's shorts at the moment. And perfect pair, did I answer your question? Now remember, so we have a triggering structure. So we have location, location, location. Think real estate, not a recommendation. We have alignment. We have selling icebergs. And what's another little thing we have that I know you guys are aware of? 61 buy stops, selling icebergs, 10, 18, absorption, trigger, hasta la vista, short ski, not a recommendation. I don't call trades, but I'm just saying, could be interesting. Are you guys tracking? Can you see how, if you understand how the market works, that you can actually anticipate where these trades will show up? And then you have triggering structure. Does this make sense? Are you guys with me? That was a Trader Lab short. Hope you're getting something out of this. This is Trader Lab. You can learn this. I'm not saying it'll work for you, because you have to kind of, what's probably hard for most traders, it was for me. I spent half my life with indicators trying to get them to work, right? And everything works. The problem, you know what the problem is? It's so ironic. The problem is you have winning trades and you think it's just a matter of making it better. And I have to say this to you, because we probably believe that because we have winning trades that we're doing the right thing, of course, and we just have to get more winning trades. I know you're saying, Tom, I know this. But I'm going to say is, what we don't know is everybody has winning trades. And if you have no edge, you're still going to have winning trades. Gamblers in the casinos win, yet they lose, but they still have winning hands. So they come back to the table. Does that make sense? Dale, you should come to Trader Lab. How to set up Bookmap. That's one of the things, and we share that in Trader Lab. It's not what I do. I mean, there's so many tools in Bookmap. Now, I'm a minimalist. I know early on in my trader development, and I started in 1980, I went to the other side of the boat. It was like, how much stuff can I put on here to create certainty and confirmation? Because we're all risk adverse. It's logical. We're wired not to seek risk, but to avoid risk. So it's a primal wiring. That's kind of why, as a species, we survived the predators. Well, our primal wiring sees this environment as predatory. So, because of risk. So, we're trying to avoid risk. How do you do that? You create certainty. Well, how about this? What if you're trying to solve for something that doesn't exist in this environment, which is certainty? It does not exist. So, we might be trying to solve, and this is why I agreed to do Trader Lab, because of what I went through as a developing trader. I want to tell you, no guns in the house, because I couldn't understand why I was ending up in Trader Groundhog Day. Work hard, spend your life doing, tweaking, tuning, and looking good, having winning trades and still not going anywhere. Sequence of winning trades. Well, why does it work now? What is it not? All this kind of stuff. And then I built trading systems to try to solve the problem of optimization. So I did it much better with the system. The problem was it didn't change the outcome. So as I did more of what didn't work, it didn't solve the problem. I did it more efficiently, but the problem was not optimization. The problem was my belief that this was a optimization, tuning, tweaking screwdriver, in the car, tune the carburetor, those of you who remember what those were, versus fuel injection. One moment. And that's not the business we're in. We're in a gaming business. And casinos are a business model. Never knew it. Nobody ever told me. By the way, where's resistance? It's right there. LVN, outside edge. This is your short. Okay, and where's your resistance? Why would this be resistance? Let me show you. I just blew something up on another screen. One moment, please. Let me try to fix this. If I don't highlight the right chart and I push a button, it creates pandemonium. Here, let me come back. High vol. Watch very closely now. This is your auction. Remember, this was our short right here. This is your entry for that. Now watch. So let's say you're sitting here like most of us and you're the deer in the headlights. No, that's not a, not to insult anybody, because unless you're extremely experienced, you're not going to recognize this until that. This is a sell trigger. Well, where's my resistance? It's here. So when I see this, this is absorption. And what else is this? Only one buy stop, selling iceberg. So short here, that's a Trader Lab structured trade. Stop here, break. Back here, what is this? Micro high volume structure, follow with me. What I'm showing you is how I'm giving you the structure so you can understand what it says. I don't use indicators, so I had to learn to read the language of the participants. All your indicator is, and there's nothing wrong with indicators if you know what they are actually, they are translators of price or derivatives of price. What I've done is remove the indicators, and I'm the indicator. I am translating price, and I can do it here versus something that lags and looks back. If I'm going to enter, I'm entering here with a stop here, or I'm entering here with a stop there. And where am I going? South of the border. Does that make sense? Yeah, Dale, to understand Bookmap, and you should come to Trader Lab if you're not there, and any of you that are visiting today. I'm just reading questions. Dale, you should come to Trader Lab. Use the link in the bottom of YouTube. There's no cost. In fact, any of you visiting today in YouTube or elsewhere on the planet, there is a link in the bottom of YouTube. You can come to the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community. There's no cost for this. There's a library of webinars and, of course, the community. So it's only shorts, okay? And I just saw a question, Nazim, how can you like 20-second trades? Well, if you have an edge with that, do you have a edge with that, Nazim? 20-second trades? I find, at least for me, the market is not a function of time. It's a function. There is no clock here. It's rotations. So if I want to trade short term, which I find it doesn't work for me. I was a high volume trader in the NQ years ago, and it was too much wear and tear and cost. My choice was to get a membership, lease a seat, or change my rotations that I operated in. At one point, and this is way back, this is back around 2000, 2001, I think it was. Can't remember anymore. I trade over 100 trades a day in the NQ because of its volatility. So it was more suited. In the ES, I'm more of a rotational trader because my risk, and this has nothing to do with your question, Nazim, is I risk about 2.5 to 3 points. So I'm not trading for anything more than getting risk neutral, which means I need to get about a 3-point rotation, which is within the harmonic of the ES. So the typical noise in the ES is 3-4 points, half of the harmonic, which is about 5-6 points at the moment. So if I'm going for 3-point stop, I'm going to be looking to get risk neutral so I can keep my stop out here, and then I'm going to manage my trade and go for targets. Now remember where our last short was. It's up here and out here. Okay, last short, and you all saw that here. By the way, it's not that I get a trade right. It's say I get them right, I get them wrong. We all do. There's no magic. I'm telling you, there's no magic to trading. It's almost like showing up and going to work. In fact, it is. Show up, go to work. All the work to prepare to be able to be a trader is done outside of trading hours. You bring your plan to the job. We're not playing a video game. It's a strategic endeavor of edge. Casinos work the same way. They don't know what's going to happen and where. They don't know which hands they're going to win. They don't know which hands the gamblers are going to win. They don't control the cards coming out of the deck. They don't control how gamblers play the cards. They have no control, really. They're in a 100% random environment, just like we are. If you can accept that you have no control over what the other participants do at any moment, at any time, then you need to accept that the only control you have is over how you play the game. The game, whether it's blackjack or shorting the LVN, is generic. The outcome is random. So when the game when the dealing is happening, we can only play the game and depend on the statistical probabilities of an outcome, not predict the outcome. And I always think about this when I reflect on the concepts of gaming. I have to also understand that the casinos don't know who's going to win, which hand wins, which one loses. If they haven't figured it out, then how can we? How can we get confidence and create certainty in an environment that doesn't exist? Most retail traders are trying to solve for certainty, but it doesn't exist. So maybe, and this is part of what Trader Lab is about, understand that there is no certainty. What there is absolute 100% uncertainty. Does it make more sense to solve for uncertainty instead of seeking certainty, which is really based on primal needs of avoiding the saber-toothed tiger versus accepting you're in a gaming environment? Does that make sense? Oh, good, Dale. Well, Nazim, when you say you like to trade 20-second trade rotations, I'm going to ask you a question. Why? There's only one reason in my book, and I'm not making judgments here. It's because my edge, I have an edge. But if I'm going to, and 20 seconds has nothing to do with a rotation. I mean, we could sit here for 20 seconds and do this. So why would I be out of a trade if I'm trading for this? I'm just asking. If I'm taking risk, why wouldn't I be going for this to pay for my risk? I mean, this is from up here, this short, or this one, wherever you want to get into this thing. And this is where I was suggesting the short would show up, and which it did. Neither here nor there. Could have been a stop. I have to just tell you, that's reality. There is no secret sauce, and no holy grail, and there is nobody, me or anybody else, doesn't matter, I'm trading 45 years, who doesn't take stops. We got to get over it. It's overhead and costs of production. There is no business on the planet that doesn't have to pay bills. So, can't escape paying your rent. So for me, 20 seconds has nothing to do with this. For me, it's location, 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 and structured triggers that traders can learn, order flow, and then the rotation. And did I have my buyers? Wasn't it here? Where's my liquidity coming back in the book? Isn't it there? And where's my target? Subject to how I trade, I'm going for this. And right here, I'm going to be monitoring right here. Right here. Let's watch it. So for me, I'm good with this. 83.73, 10 points, whatever. So 20 seconds, fine. Me, not so much. You have a 12-point harmonic, 46. So if you're running a 12-point harmonic, and I tend to look at a 6-point harmonic, and slicing it down in half gives me a 3-point internal harmonic. So that's where 3-point stops come from. And the other part of 3-point stops is the structure that I see from here to here. The way for developing traders to operate in this is, and this is not a recommendation, it needs to be vetted, when you have a trigger, and this is a broad stroke trigger, limit order 1 tick, in front of this, Stop 3 ticks above this. That'll put you in for about 3 points. Then it's a 3-point scale. Stop stays up here, and then you're going to wherever. And then it's trade management processes. So what I do is, here, I'll show you a little trade management. And you have to vet everything for yourself. Remember, short is there. Test is here. This is another short here if you want, but your risk is going to be up here. Test back to the micro high volume structure. Here, break here. Resistance is here, here, here. And as you go down, the probabilities of getting taken out on a counter rotation are going to go up because everybody, and I mean everybody, retail traders, us, we're trailing our stops. This is a weak high. So the potential is, now we had absorption here to come out here. So subject to your trade plan, you're doing the following. You're managing your trade. You're going for this, or, let me go back to the or, because there's always or, what was this? Sweep, counter rotation. What comes back in the book? Remember what happened here, and what's this? Potential target or nothing, and what happens here? Here's your chop, here's your absorption, here's your break. Sellers are here. You could be out of the trade. Where's the stops? Here. Now, that's up to you. This is trade management processes. I just want to give you something to think about. There's no right or wrong. You know, what's right, what's wrong? The only right or wrong that exists in an environment that's 100% random is following your plan and just going on to the next trade, not thinking much more about it. It's like, what do I do here? Well, if I sell this, I sell this. My sellers are here. My buyers are here. My sellers are there. Sellers are here. Buyers are down there. Buyers come in here, no clue. Come above here. Hasta la vista. Stops are here, you see? So you could be out there, or you could just fold the tent down here. It doesn't matter. Questions? How we doing in YouTube, guys? Oh, 46, is that your harmonics? I can't really look at them there. Nazim, is a 1 point stop loss too tight? I don't know. What do your statistics tell you? The answer lies in the numbers. So is 1 point stop too tight? Well, if you have an edge with that, be sure to tell us how you do it. I'd certainly like to trade with a 1 point stop. In different volatility, I think the tightest I ever had, I'm trying to remember now. It's all a subject of volatility. I think 6 tick. I traded for years with 6 tick stops in the ES. But when the volatility started increasing, I had to go up to 3. Not fixed. I mean, 2.5 to 3. It just depends on my entry. But and part of a trade plan is if I can't enter, notice where the stops were. We're here. If I can't enter properly, I just don't take the trade. It just doesn't matter to me. There's thousands of trades in a career. I mean, really. So one trade is insignificant. What's more important in the business side, if you look at this as a business, is being here for the next trade that fits, not trading because of FOMO. Because that's what a lot of us do because we're triggered emotionally by the chemicals that are floating around in the brain. And you also need to understand how the mind works, especially your primal wiring, which is under the hood. I used to think it was willpower. You know, like, well, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to wait. You know, have you ever had that conversation with yourself? And then when you're in this environment, there's a lunatic in charge. Why is that? No matter how much you commit to doing something, the reason this happens, and most of us don't understand this, and you can come to Trader Lab and build structures to support your business and overcome the emotional states. Why did the market come here? What happened here? Stops were sitting here. I mentioned that to you. Why would the stops be sitting here? And why was this the outside edge? High volume is sitting there. What else do we have? Stop sitting here. Resistance is sitting here and here. What is this? Another sell trigger. Now, but here's the problem. Let me show you the problem. There's your trigger, your outside edges there. You would not have an entry here. But once you have a trigger, if you did not get taken out here, and that's a function of trade plan. Where does this short fail? Didn't fail here. Where does it fail? Doesn't it fail up here? But this is where you have to have your own trade plan. Stops are there. This is a stop pick. This is a trigger, no entry if you're using a structured process. Where are we trying to go? Down here. And where else? Let's come back. The breakout of the consolidation, 70-50. And then we can test in here. This is a very interesting event. It's an important key event, this. Now, we can test in here. Now, right in here, I'm going to say all bets are off, literally, other than the one you have on right now, because this is very important what happens in here. So we have to, and I have no sense of what will happen. I'm not in the business of predictions. I'm in the business of alignment, and this is what you'll learn in Trader Lab. The idea of being a professional, career-based trader is to learn how to trade. I know, you're thinking, well, right. No, but part of learning how to trade is to understand what this business really is. It is not based, it's not your indicators telling you buy, sell. It isn't. It's understanding the condition of the market and being able to recognize change as quickly as possible. And like everybody, we're not going to know about it until later. 70-50, remember. So now we got to see, there's no structure down here. So now we're going to have to see where we go. Let me see if I can show you something here. I'm going to try to show you something. This is your market profile and volume profile combined. I'm going to try to show you. By the way, this was our last short, right? I think. This is where the gap was that we broke out of 70-50. Now we're coming back in the range. Let me see if there's anything down here of interest to us. There's really nothing going on here. So we're kind of in space here, I'm going to tell you. So I don't really have anything, guys, for targeting here. The one area to look at is going to be this, around 60. And I am kind of reaching, as they say, for that. We also have 59 quarter. We want to look at this area. That is 2 times the initial balance. It's here, 59.35-ish, wherever this is. Here. It's there. So this is our next area. It's alignment here. It's not a trade recommendation, but that's the area. And I'm running out of time. Final questions. Remember, if you're visiting in YouTube, there's a link down there. You can visit the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community. There is no cost. This is about the business of trading. It's not a, there's no holy grail. This is business. If you're interested in the business, this is about trade plans, understanding market mechanics, learning how the market works, why it might do some of the things it does, and how at times you can get in alignment with it. And of course, at other times we're not in alignment with it, and we pay for the privilege of finding out if our thesis is correct. The other part of this is understanding when things change, that instead of getting emotionally strung about it, that you just go, okay, it's changing. Where's my next trade? And for us, the next trade was the short out in here. So this is the last short was up in the 80s, and now we're down in the 60s. That's a 20-point trade, subject to how you manage your trade. So I'm not saying it's your 20-point trade. I am saying if you're in Trader Lab, it could be your trade. Please give a like. If you're visiting in YouTube, use the link. There is no cost to visit the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community. It's open to everybody. This is what it looks like. How we doing in Discord? Is it still functional? This is what Discord looks like. I am streaming from Costa Rica, so things are unstable, but this is the Trader Lab. Also, if I can find a link here, I'd like to show you. This is our library of webinars. You're all welcome. Meet the Trader Lab. It's advanced trader education. You ought to look at this one. Start with the primer webinar. It gives you a high-level overview. And then this one. I planned, I saw, I traded. These three will give you a very quick overview of what this is and why the Trader Lab is all about the business of trading and helping traders build out the business side of this. If you're interested in the business of trading, come to Trader Lab. There is no cost, and I'd look forward to meeting you there. And remember, these streams are available for you to reverse engineer, screenshot, build out a trade plan. Hope you guys got something out of this. If you're in YouTube, please give a like. It helps support this stream. Next target is here, not a recommendation. Hope you got something out of this today. Look forward to seeing you guys again. And thank you so much today for your patience with the infrastructure in Costa Rica here and for visiting the Trader Lab. Look forward to meeting you in the Trader Lab. See you guys soon. Have a super day. And Bookmap support, thank you so much for helping out with this stream here from Costa Rica today. See you guys tomorrow, and don't forget to hit the like on the way out. Thanks.